What most people don't realize is how quietly safety disappears when the margin gets thin. I was walking around the other day out in the park and I was thinking about something. It occurred to me that I always thought retirement would be safer than this. When I was younger, retirement was supposed to mean something. It meant you worked hard, you showed up, you did what you were told, and at the end of the day, you were supposed to be okay. Not rich by any means, not living lifestyles of the rich and famous, just safe. A roof over your head, food in the fridge, nice pair of shoes maybe, and a little peace. But that's not what a lot of people are facing right now. For many Americans, retirement has turned into a quiet survival. People don't talk about it much. Our generation was never known to complain much. Well, then again, there was that time in the 60s and 70s. We definitely don't post about it online. And we're proud. But some of us are embarrassed too. I know I was. Some feel like they failed, even when they didn't. But truth be told, there are a lot of people right now who are one rent payment away from losing everything. One medical bill, one car repair, one bad month, and you're sunk. It's all over. And once you're on a fixed income, there's no cushion anymore. When I was growing up, I watched my parents retire. I saw my neighbors slow down, and I thought that's how it worked. You put money into a 401k, and, well, if you were lucky enough to have one, or maybe you had a pension, or maybe you just saved the best you could, and you believed that would be enough. But here's the part I don't hear anyone talking about. I didn't do that. And according to the numbers, I'm not the only one. I switched jobs before pensions or 401ks were ever funded. And as a child of the 60s and 70s, I lived in the moment. Honestly, I figured I'd work until I died or I'd die before it ever mattered. I spent what I earned. Sometimes I invested, never serious about it though. Most times on a whim or a hunch. I did pay into Social Security, but even then I knew that was never going to be enough on its own. If I hadn't been injured while serving in the military and able to claim a disability, I'd have nothing right now. Nothing. And that's not an exaggeration. That's just the truth. And I know I'm not alone in that. There were a lot of people my age who didn't plan perfectly. Some couldn't, some didn't know how. Some were just trying to survive the years they were in. Life happened. Jobs changed. Marriages ended. People die. Health fails. The economy shifted. And somehow we're all supposed to pretend that there was a clean roadmap. There wasn't. Meanwhile, costs didn't stop rising. Housing didn't level out and groceries didn't get any cheaper. Insurance didn't ease up and taxes, you'll pay them until you're out of here. In fact, then your next generation will pay them. A lot of people right now are quietly struggling. I know people that are sleeping in their cars, staying with family, or moving from place to place, renting a room. Can you imagine being in your 60s, 70s, or even in your 80s, not knowing if you'll have a home next month? The American dream has turned into the American scream. And of course, some people would say that's their problem because they were lazy. Others tag it as irresponsibility. Regardless, that's the reality of today. I'm thankful, I am so thankful for where I'm at. I know that I was fortunate. But I see what's happening around me and it's disheartening. I see new apartments going up everywhere and they call them affordable housing. Affordable to who? Even renting can feel out of reach, and the rent goes up every year. And what I find amusing is that the rent caps here in California are limited to 5% annually. But Social Security and the VA increases are based on the CPI, which was supposedly 2.8% this year. So even with the raise, we lose. And when you factor in the raise in the Medicare costs, we just, the only thing that changes is we go backwards a little more. And some people ask, well, why so many apartments? Because people can't afford to buy a house, fool. And they don't know where else to go. Nobody likes seeing these new apartments change their town, but everyone understands the underlying truth. People need a place to live. Heck, we got states that are outlawing homelessness. Well, if you ain't got a place to live and you got no money to go anywhere else, where are you supposed to go? And this just doesn't happen in big cities. It's happening everywhere. It's universal. Red states, blue states, purple states, even the green states are in trouble right now. And for seniors, especially senior veterans living on fixed incomes, it's a heavy lift sometimes. It wears on you. So if you're watching this and you're struggling or you know someone who is, I want you to hear this clearly. It's not your fault. The system that we're in wasn't built for this new version of reality. If this hits home for you or if you've seen it firsthand, drop a comment below. We have a small community here, but it's a real one. And sometimes just knowing you're not alone matters more than people realize. My name is George Tift, and this is BoomerBust Retirement Reality. Be well, be safe, and take the long way home. I'll see you soon.